Hey guys, it's Mr. Schmidt here, and in this final video for Unit 8, I want to talk about collusion and price leadership. So, this unit's been all about oligopoly, and there's actually three different types of oligopoly. There's non-colluding oligopolies, colluding oligopolies, and price leadership. And we've already looked at the first one, non-colluding oligopolies, in which the firms do not cooperate, they do not work together, they're very independent, and that is actually the only legal version of an oligopoly in the United States. Oligopolies are not allowed to collude or do price leadership, or they can get in big trouble, jail time, fines, the whole 9 yards. So if you ever run an oligopoly firm, don't do those things. So, a colluding oligopoly or collusion is the act of rival firms cooperating to increase profits. So they're going to work together, coordinate, okay, how much are we going to produce, what's the prices going to be, so that they can increase their combined profits. And an example of this would be a cartel, which is a group of producers that agree to fix prices. Basically, make prices a certain number so everyone benefits in that cartel. And an example of this would be OPEC. So OPEC stands for the Organization for Petroleum Exporting Countries. So it's a bunch of countries that produce oil, typically out in the Middle East, and they work together to keep gas prices as high as they can, so they can make a lot more money. Although, depending upon the economy's situation, that may not always work. But that's the idea. And ultimately, collusion and cartels only work to the extent that the firms in them agree to work together. If firms start getting greedy or want to do things their own way, it quickly falls apart. And even something like OPEC, which has been very successful historically, hasn't always run perfectly because countries that are basically acting as firms have been greedy, tried to make more money than their rivals. A third type of oligopoly is what we call price leadership, and I can't believe I spelled strategy wrong. I just noticed that right away, so sorry, strategy. Price leadership is a strategy used by firms to coordinate prices without outright collusion. In other words, it's a sneaky kind of collusion where you're trying to increase profits, but you don't want the government to know, so you try to do it kind of under the table. So the way it works is one firm will set the price for their product, and the others will follow the leader. They'll follow that firm and change their prices in response. And of course, it's still very illegal. The government can find out about this, and you can get in big trouble. But that's how firms try to collude without outright doing it, to try to maybe do it under the table and be able to get away with it. Still very much illegal. The last thing I wanted to talk about in the video is to connect this back to the payoff matrix. Remember, when we talked about a Nash equilibrium, which we said was this box up here, we said that a Nash equilibrium is a non-cooperative equilibrium. In other words, if both players cannot or choose not to work together, that is the box they will end up in, a combined profit of $65 in total between them, right? 35 plus 30. But let's say they wanted to cooperate and work together to maximize their combined profit. What would they do? Well, they would pick this box right here. Why? Because this box would give them the greatest combined profit of $85. And so this is what we would call a cooperative equilibrium. Okay? And so the actions that would result in this cooperative equilibrium would be to close at 9 p.m. and no delivery. So you know in this case it's the exact opposite of what they're doing, right? And that's kind of the irony of it, that if both firms would just choose to work together, they could actually get a better outcome than if they would work separately. And this is why there's such an incentive to break the law and collude, because you can make a lot more money than if you're not colluding, right? So the last thing I wanted to do in this video is to go ahead and give you that definition of a cooperative equilibrium. Since I forgot to type it out, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you in my sloppy handwriting, so I do apologize, but I'll do my best here. So a cooperative equilibrium is a combination or a combo of actions that produces the greatest combined payoff for both players. So you got to be careful with cooperative equilibrium, because if it's talking about profits, then yes, it's the box with the biggest number combined sum in it. But if it was talking about cost, like maybe the dollar amounts are the cost to make a flower, or to make a flower arrangement or whatever, then you'd be looking for the box with the smallest number sum in it. So you just got to be careful with the question. Make sure you understand what the numbers in the boxes reference. But yes, it is the greatest combined payoff for both players. That box is the cooperative equilibrium. Whereas the Nash equilibrium, or the non-cooperative equilibrium, remember this is the same thing as a Nash, that would be the box where you have two circles in it, where neither player can do better by changing their choice. So that's all for this video on collusion and price leadership. Until next time, have a great day.